Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Alan Galang from Vancouver, Canada, and I'm here again with my two new friends who's actually in the future. This is Tony and Neri, who's all the way out in Australia, and I'm bringing these two amazing people to you folks today because they've got some really incredible insight to share with you if you're in that position of starting off your new life with your new baby, or if you're in the process of starting a new family. There's some really important pieces of advice that they've really put together in a really great way to share with you to make that transition into parenthood a little bit smoother, a little bit more effective in terms of building a tighter relationship between you and your baby. And it's the kind of stuff that we feel shouldn't be left on the side, that you really need to have in your hands. So if anything, Neri, Tony, thank you again for spending a little bit of time with us today. You could be doing anything else, but you're choosing to invest your time in sharing your great insights with us. So thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. So folks, take us back a little bit before we get into the book and before we get into the great pieces of knowledge that you have to share. Can you tell us a little bit about your backgrounds in terms of what kind of experiences were you going through in your lives personally that made you even want to consider doing something like writing this book?
Okay. Having been through a similar situation where in childbirth where I thought that we'd lost a daughter, and you know, thinking back on that situation and how that actually felt, and then coming across this absolutely fantastic this way of mothering called Kangaroo Mother Care, and thinking back and reflecting on, now what if my daughter hadn't actually breathed, if she hadn't survived, would we have been offered that opportunity to provide that sort of care? And being health professionals and looking back to what was happening at the time, and even up to what we know now about what's happening in healthcare and the diffusion of Kangaroo Mother Care, I very much doubt that we would have been offered that opportunity or given that opportunity. So maybe that would have made a really critical difference to my baby's survival, or our baby's survival at the time. So this was one of the impetuses for actually looking at the research and looking into what was known about Kangaroo Mother Care and the benefits of the value of it. And I think it's just essential that parents have as much information as they can to actually make the right decisions, or the decisions that are right for them at the time. And by having that knowledge, getting that knowledge out there so they can actually make decisions based around the care of their newborn, if they find themselves in a situation that could be very similar to what we have heard from parents and experts through the research for our book. It could make a complete difference to the outcome for them and for their baby at the time. And that's really important to us, to get that information out there so they can actually make those decisions and actually, hopefully, in a time of need, make all that difference to themselves and their newborn baby. Wow.
So, taking us back a little while ago, you had actually lost your own child. Is that correct?
No. When she was born, I remember them taking the baby away very quickly, as they normally do in a lot of settings anyway. It was a birth in a hospital, and I remember things. It's quite cloudy because at the time, I remember. Having been given drugs and that, so it is cloudy. But I remember, what seemed like a stillness for a couple of minutes, and I remember, the health team looking over at us, the doctor shaking his head, and it wasn't until after that I actually learnt that they thought that she wouldn't survive. So
wow.
That was pretty amazing.
Wow. Yeah, going through a phase like that, I haven't personally been there, but I'm sure that a lot of the folks that are watching this right now have probably gone through something really similar to what you have experienced. And that's got to be one of the most terrifying things to go through in life, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and I think if I'd have known then what I know now and the benefits of Kangaroo Mother Care, I would have, if that had been the situation and they had said to me, "We've lost your baby," I would have been, I would have pushed to actually get my baby and do what I had to do to actually do my best to try and turn the situation around. Because once the medical team give up, then there is no, your baby can be lost. And I think it's very important that we try, and I don't want to give people false hopes or anything like that, but it came out in our book with, a few of the mums that we interviewed, they've been given their babies to say goodbye to, and they've been wrapped up and given to them, and, these mums intuitively and for other reasons where they've actually read things around kangaroo mother care, unwrapped their babies and just held them and cuddled them, and they actually revived their babies, and this is after they've been medically declared dead.
What made you decide to make the decision to take action in writing, doing something like writing a book about this particular topic? Because this isn't common everyday knowledge that we're talking about. This is something that's very unique in its sense. I mean, before having a chance to meet you two, I didn't even know that this kind of information existed.
Yeah, well, that's right too, Alan. What we found is when we started to discover kangaroo mother care for ourselves and the whole process of it, that the information was scattered across a broad, the internet, it was just sort of scattered everywhere in pockets. And so what we decided to do was to just consolidate all that information and talk to some parents that went through this and research the topic with some experts and put it together into a book so that new mums and dads can be informed for the birth of their first child, because it's such a daunting thing, that the first baby, because it's the unknown and you don't know where you don't know exactly what's going to happen, whereas if you do know and you've got some information that can help you through that and decisions are made that you don't agree with, then you can speak up with confidence and say, no, I would like to do this or I would like to do that, because then your statements come from an informed perspective, and control isn't just snatched off you within the birthing suites. So, that's what the book's about, is to get this information to the new mums and the new dads, so their birthing experience with their newborn baby is going to be better. It's going to be more beneficial to them, to their new baby. The benefits are just huge. And the book explains that.